This is what it's like sometimes when you're setting up for a show. The thing is, tomorrow's supposed to be nice weather, and it'll be the first day of the show, so the people coming here at 7:30 in the morning won't care that we had to wait until 10 o'clock to set up tonight. So we're not waiting. We're doing our best to put things up in the rain. We've got lots of tents, 2 up, 1 behind me, and 1 more in the van, and we're gonna just muck on through with towels and a little dryness tomorrow. We'll be okay. The accommodations are popping up. Susan uses this thing all the time, and I'm glad because it seems complicated to me. Do you need me to help you now?
You wouldn't mind doing a couple crates for me?
So now we have tents up, and I'm starting to unpack, and I'm looking at what she's going through with cardboard and thinking, I better leave anything paper in here until tomorrow when it's supposed to be dry. I've been through this before. Packwood, Washington, notorious for rain on setup day, followed by a beautiful, glorious day, and all sorts of people saying, why aren't you set up? So we learned how to do it. First assumption is that water can go anywhere, so I'll end up covering that box with plastic, even though it's a plastic box under a plastic table. Secondly, assume water can go anywhere. You get a pre-wash on the tables, that's nice. Tent needs to be staked down. We're not getting a lot of wind. If it was that kind of a storm, we wouldn't be setting up at all, but we can put the stakes in a little better than that. Always look under your table and make sure you've got this pushed down so that it is going to stay. This has to be locked, just like the buttons here have to be locked so that the tent will be stretched out and will not cool up with water, because pools of water are what end up turning into leaks. Put out the things that you can that don't matter about getting wet. Other things can be covered with plastic if you brought it. I brought a bunch. So we're going to start unpacking carefully, slowly, and thoughtfully. And bring towels, always a good idea. Well, I've got to say, this is pretty bad weather. It's definitely limiting what we can do. Most people have given up and left, and I don't blame them. But we are persevering as best we can. We're going to try to do things like we've done so far. This stuff can all get wet. This stuff can get wet. Some of this can't. So we're going to cover a lot with plastic, and, you know, at some point, as it gets darker, we're going to give up until morning like everyone else did. Well, we are in the middle of day 1 of the show. We are still unpacking. We have our friend Kat and our friend Dalton behind us from Nurse Flipper, and I'm so glad she's here, but boy, half my stuff's still in boxes. It's been a heck of a setup, but we are selling and we are having fun. And we're really pleased to see people getting stuff out today because the weather was so iffy yesterday. A lot of dealers couldn't really get a lot of their stuff out. We were unpacking until mid-afternoon, and we couldn't put anything paper or linen out until today. So people are really just starting to see the full effect of what we brought, and we're starting to get a crowd. Well, I put my Christmas next to Susan's because she does really well. She has actually sold over $1,000 worth of ceramic trees already. And this is just day 2, but I brought Lefton pieces. A lot of those have sold. I brought various Fenton pieces, a lot that you see here, ornaments. The hurricane lamp is something pretty interesting back there. A lot of these pieces, whatever doesn't sell, I'm going to start selling in live sales. We have the nativity sets. We've got the Fenton with the shepherds. We have the Holy Family, and we also have the 3 wise men, along with a bunch of Fenton ornaments and the cute Santa rug there. I have a lot of boxed ornaments. I don't have any with indents, but I've got some pretty cool ones, and they are here awaiting a new home, along with tinsel lights. I did sell 2 aluminum Christmas trees, however. There's Mini Pearl Christmas at Grinder Switch. That is really fun. I've got to read you just a little bit. Roy Acuff did the introduction to this. Christmas is the happiest time of year here at Grinder Switch. We're happy there most generally anyway, but at Christmas time there's an extra special glow that sort of spreads all the way from Seth Jones General Store to Lem Perkins Pasture at the edge of town and back again. Uncle Nabob says if we could just hold on to a little of that Christmassy feeling all year round, we wouldn't have to worry about no atomic bomb or none of that fighting business, and she's got a point there. And if you were in the Christmas Club, you could save your dimes and get less interest than you could with a regular account. I never understood the Christmas Club accounts. They finally went away because people began to realize that I could just put it in savings and get more money. Tom and Jerry set and eggnog. This one's for eggnog, but Tom and Jerry's are delicious, and you should try one. It's an old school, eggy, rummy punch drink that you will like, if you like such things. And then I have the creche. We don't have the crib for the baby Jesus, but we do have the other pieces. So hopefully that will find a new home. One Afghan left. I had two that were Christmas colors. They sold instantly. And I sold Rudolph, but I still have a little bit of the popcorn Santa stuff. And then, of course, looking this way, you see nothing but Christmas because Susan is the Christmas girl and she brought nothing else. And she's doing very well with it. Ceramic trees, yes, they are still a thing. And people are starting to ask if they have the original molds and dates on the bottom because people are aware that there are new ones being made, but it's expensive to make these in these classes as well. I like the one in the middle without the flocking. I want to say hello, and this is another YouTuber that we have not met before, and you said you're Jolie?
I'm Samantha with Jolie
You're Samantha,
Flips Vintage.
and it's Jolie Flips Vintage. Okay,
Yeah,
we're just meeting for the first time.
French for pretty.
Right,
So
yes, I just assumed that was your name.
it's better that way, then I don't have to reveal who I really am.
That's right, exactly. Oh, how fun. Well, how long have you been doing your channel?
Oof, 2 years now, but we started off at a gluten-free channel because I'm celiac.
Oh.
And then I like to flip, so I said, why don't we just do this?
It's great. I'm so glad you are. And actually, I'll have to watch your early videos because I also have to be gluten-free.
Oh, really?
So.
Oh, well, I'm a nurse, so I can totally help you out.
Oh, good. Well, we'll help each other out. See, this is how it works. And you know, it's interesting that you're a nurse, and we have Nurse Flipper here too.
Hi.
More nurses and teachers end up getting into reselling than any other profession I can think of. I don't know if it's just that you have like a natural concern for preserving things or what it is, but
It's learning. I think the research and stuff too.
it's the education of it all. Yeah.
Because I started watching Cat because I wanted to know more about the items that I was flipping. And,
Yes.
you know, and since watching Cat, I have been making
Now she
a
probably knows
profit.
more.
Yeah, you know what to look for.
People are really, really willing to help each other, and it's so cool. I love that about this. It really is wonderful. Well, I'm so excited you're doing it. And yeah, we might have Dalton and Susan having a pillow fight. She's teaching him how to do it nice. Well, Dalton and Miss Flipper and Sam and Adam are on their way to go shopping, and I am staying in my booth because we've got folks shopping here. I look a little bedraggled and disheveled because we got rained on so much that, well, I'm not taking a shower because I got one already. But we finally were able to set the booth up because the rain has finally stopped. Well, we had a good day yesterday, but I only now today have been able to put out some of the paper items like this great Turner print down here. And it took all day to get all this jewelry out. I have more jewelry than I can even put out. I still have some really cool art glass. We sold some good pieces yesterday, but again, it was such a slow unpacking that a lot of this stuff is just hitting the shelves today. So you get to see it a little bit more like it looks at the beginning of the show. Although we did sell about $2,400 worth of stuff, there's still plenty of cool things left. I love this bank. The Erica phone in the butterscotch is great. The Empoli candle holders are fun. This lucite statue has gotten some attention. Just a couple of pieces of Sasha Brostoff left. I've got this one with the pagodas, and I have this from the Alaska line with the mark on the side right there. A bunch of silhouettes, a couple of interesting paperweights here and there. Mako shark jaws. I did sell a neat Murano bowl from here. But I do have some neat glass still. The Eichholt piece is good. This is an original World War I YMCA poster. I just sold the Navy poster. In fact, I need to put that in the car because we're getting some wind. I don't want it to blow and get damaged. We've got our VFW poster up and they are ready for a party. I did sell the cocktail set that had the glasses yesterday, but I have more that I've just put out. Our World War II nutcracker guy. One Native American and one Mexican black basalt glaze. Always love that stuff. I just got this stereo camera recently. I haven't had a stereo camera for a while, so that was a nice thing to see. A couple of things from Ringling Circus because that's popular in this area. And like I said, I've just now started to put out some books, this V-mail package, the Tour of the World cards. I was afraid to put a lot of this stuff out. There is still water on the tent and a little bit dribbling through. So I really have put this off as long as I can. A couple of quilts. I sold several quilts at the storehouse sale, and in Springfield I sold a couple, so thought we should bring more of those. We've got some kitchen down here. We've actually added a lot to these showcases with lots of little things. I am moving towards a lot of smaller stock, partly because it also sells online easily and can be shipped easily, and partly because as you get on in life as a dealer, well, you start wanting things to be a little bit easier as well. So we have some new fobs, some new pocket knives, some interesting military and political stuff, including an old Eisenhower pin before he was president. World's Fairs, I brought some things from them, including this pin from the American Association of Fairs and Expositions that helps award such. Some more lighters. The Scandinavian Air System is something that has just come into the case. I've still got to rearrange some of these. Jungle Pete is just fantastic, and since we're in the Florida season, he works and he's in the original box from the 50s, just had to bring him. And these guys from 1978, they are chalkware, they are just so cool. They are bookends, and they were done by Progressive Art Product, and you can see the mark there from 1978. My grandmother sent my mother a pair of these in 1978, so I knew the age just from having lived through it. Birds and lions and silhouettes. Tried to bring a lot of fun stuff. Then I'll show you for a little bit of jewelry for a minute. I finally got the jewelry case put together. I did sell quite a bit of jewelry, but I have so much new jewelry I can't even get it all out. Dr. Pepper fobs, some World's Fair spoons. I put some things that were a little more valuable in the case that were silver, or things I just didn't want to have to worry about fussing with. There's a silver charm bracelet, for example. Several watches, including this one here, which is a pin that you wear with the watch, the one with the big bow knot there. Have a couple of check pieces, a little bit of sterling, a few micro mosaics. I see one little pendant in there that I had promised to someone and thought I had sold it, so I'm going to have to take that out. This face pin is really cool, dichroic glass from the 1990s, when that was a thing. And there's some sign pieces in here, but then we have trays of novelty jewelry, copper jewelry by various makers, Rebaje and Renoir Matisse, etc. There are some signed Trifari pieces, a little bit of carved bakelite in terms of earrings, as well as some of the pieces on the stand over here. Lots of bead strands. I think this one with the flowers is really fun. I sold a really nice Aurora Borealis one yesterday, and this one's got some Italian beads. And then in here, some other Fenton, the Burmese with the quilted look and the rose painted. That's a really cute little piece. I have some World's Fair rings and pins and glasses. A couple new half dolls, a Pixie. Some more Fenton pieces. Fenton's been selling pretty well. I've sold several already, and I suspect I'll sell more because it is very popular again. And then I have some basalt ware in the Wedgwood. A Fenton Panther piece there. Bohemian glass. This is a cute little piece. This is a musical compact, and to not get demonetized, I won't play the music, but the music does work. It's in the original box. Sold all but one Joseph figure. Got some Whiting and Davis mesh and this fun West Side Story purse back there. A compact from Alaska. Some cool silhouettes, hair combs, some reticules. I've really tried to beef up the boudoir and jewelry display because I enjoy carrying it and because you can get a lot in a small space. There's some patriotic painted Fenton. That wasn't supposed to come to this show, but it somehow got in with Christmas, and you know what? I've actually sold some pieces I didn't mean to bring, so things work out sometimes. This is a very pretty Victorian piece. I don't have a lot of true antiques at this show, but I wanted to show this because this goes back to about the 1890s, and I really love the figural griffins and that blue band. I think it's just a really cute piece of redware. Interesting sand timer with the 3 levels there. Just got the candlestick phone, and the candlestick phone actually has been rigged up to work on a modern system.
That is great.
And we've got some very cute mesh purses here, some neat Japanese lusterware and a Lomonosov piece, a good Japanese little modernist bronze piece there. So we really tried to bring variety.
You don't want to see a fat old lady in a bikini.
Sam and Adam are back from
Jolie Flips Vintage.
Jolie Flips Vintage. See, I wanted to not call her Jolie, so we're learning.
You can call me Jolie.
Oh, I'm sure they do, but this is great. I'm so glad you came back and you found some things, which I thank you for. So,
Love these. Malachite. So great.
yeah, I was really excited about those too. I think it's great you're getting on to 80s jewelry because it is coming back. I've sold, that's the last piece I had from that little grouping, and malachite is hot again.
Oh, yes, absolutely. There's a place called Virginia City out in Nevada.
Yes.
They film Bonanza there. There's tons of malachite. You could source there if you ever get out there.
Oh my gosh, Virginia City's an amazing place. They have the Bucket of Blood Saloon where Mark Twain would hang out, and it's got all the, have you been there? And it's got, it's so cool.
Yeah, because I used to date a guy in Reno.
Oh, wow.
I used to go there a lot.
It's an amazing place. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let me get you some prices on these, and they're not going to be much. Okay, so we're going to wrap up $100 worth of cool stuff. Well, we have a little bit of a break because it's lunchtime and the sun's coming out, so we'll have a new wave of people coming shortly. I'm going to shop the neighbor's booth where I can see mine from a distance because he's got these really cool enameled clam broth pieces. These were done in the 60s and into the 70s. These have the lobsters on them. It's when they first started doing screen printing on the outside of the enameling. $50 on the small one, and I'm not sure what his price on the big one is, but those are prices very similar to what I've seen over the years these sell for. This is a nice Blanco blue crackle pitcher, and it is priced at $85. Now, Blanco was good quality, but sometimes when they put the handles on, they didn't fuse well, so you never want to pick one up by the handle until you check it over to make sure that it's a good handle. Let's see who the people in the neighborhood are, and more importantly, what they have to sell us. They've got a bunch of cocktail decanters here. Prices have gone up on these. 32 is pretty reasonable with the recipes, and I really like this one with the musicians. He's playing on a banjo and sitting in a cocktail and playing records. That looks like a lot of fun. That one's 36. The plastics are from the late 60s, early 70s. They're easier to get on and off, but they also wear more, so they're priced about 26 each. These folks have fun stuff here. I like the Atlantic gas station sign. Hires is always popular too, especially old Hires stuff. And we've got a Dr. Pepper lurking back there. That's an old sign. Looks like their stuff is genuine. $175 on the Coke server. It's got a crack, but that's still a pretty good deal just for the look. I keep finding this style of garish owl lamp from the 1970s, but this one is a lamp and a clock, so it's really everything. Oh my goodness, this is a one-piece ceramic Christmas tree. You don't see that so often. There is the molded base all in one. And this one's more recent because you can see on the tag there. This is a very unusual piece. It looks like they turned a pitcher into a jack in the pulpit. This is Rossi glass out of Canada. They're another maker of cranberry glass in the 1980s and 90s. And I like their designs. They do tend to be a little bit far out and fantastical like this. And that's one way you can tell them from some of the other makers. Also, look at the way the bottom is molded, because if it didn't have that sticker over the pontil, you'd still be able to tell. It's more of a molded look. Not very crisp. A little apple paperweight is nicely finished, but a no name. A red Fenton cat. The fact that it's red is unusual. We don't see as many ruby because that was more expensive when new. This is Monroe glass. This is an older piece. It's a really neat piece of open lace work. You can see how they fuse the top and the bottom together in the glassmaking factory, because this could have been a compote, and then they turn it over, take the base off, put a plate on it, and they have a cake stand, so very clever. And then you see next to it the Fenton version of same. We don't see so much pink Wedgwood. That's cute. These little Lincoln tiles were done in memory of Lincoln, I think around the time of his birth in 1909, the centennial of his birth. And I've always done well with these, so I'm going to put that in my pile. I always like shopping these folks. They have fun stuff. I would have gotten over here sooner, but weather did not permit any leaving of the booth. Buyer's Choice was a company that made these dolls and figures that have ceramic faces and are otherwise very lightweight. They were done in Pennsylvania. These are the carolers. A lot of these are actually the Salvation Army band. You could collect this entire series. It was done for the 100th anniversary of the Salvation Army, which was in 1991. $18.50 each on these figures. They made a lot of other pieces as well. You have these carolers, one's on a sled. That's pretty cool. And then we have the Annalee riding the reindeer. Look for the ones that are marked New Hampshire that were made before the production shifted elsewhere. Well, yeah, you always have interesting pieces, and I like seeing early glass. This is early Carnival. I like the peacock and grape. Oh, very nice. Yeah, no, that seems like good prices. The blue with the grape. Oh, that little guy's.
I do have two that's in good shape.
Okay, great. I'll catch them on the way through. Oh, and I see you.
I got the smaller pieces, like them, 20 each on those.
For the Charlton decorated. Yep.
They're Westmoreland.
Nice. Oh, it was rough enough. I know. I feel bad that you lost a table full of glass. It does happen at these things. But this is pretty. And you said 30. I think I'd like to have that. There's a big pilgrim glass piece, the ball vase from the 80s and 90s. 40 on that. Yeah, that's actually a good deal. They were more than that new. So you do have a lot of nice pieces, but they don't have a lot of tall pieces this time. They went really fast. Break the news to mother. Oh, that's interesting. And it's a dove with a letter. I have a feeling this was something given after we eloped, perhaps? This is very curious, and let's see how the bottom is done, because on these old ones, the bottoms did have more of a satin finish. They were just sort of ground flat. $10. This is a Northwood pattern. It is the Star of David with bows, and the outside is the Grape and Cable by Northwood. He's asking 30. They can sell for up to 50. It's not quite enough room for me, but I do really like the piece because it's different. And yes, it got a little sand in it because, well, we've had some weather here.
Darker.
So you are selling some cut crystal now.
Yeah.
I'm noticing it seems like it's starting to pick up a little bit again, and this is a nice old piece. Yeah, 50.
Some room to make some money on
50 is a great price on a nice old piece like that. I don't really have the customer now, but I have a feeling they're coming back. Up the hill from me, Derek Garman always gets amazing stuff, so it's always really fun to show what he's got. This is a really cool thing here. Tuxedo pipe and tobacco, neat old bakery box, but the thing I really wanted to show you over here that is so incredible, besides these really great Scandinavian wedding trunks and toll painted trunks, are these. These are White Eagle gasoline, and they are zinc. They would have been on top of the station. They also did them in cast iron and concrete, and they'd be even taller. There's very few of these left, and I believe he offered them for $4,800 for the pair, and they actually sell for about $3,000 to $3,500 each. So there's actually some money in that, but you also just need a really great place to show those. This looks like fun. Out of Aurora, Illinois. Lots of tool and die companies started making toys after the Second World War just to have something else to do. This is a wind-up. Looks like it's in great shape. It's got the original windshield and wheel and ladders, and because this was plastic at a time when plastic was early and kind of brittle, we wouldn't expect very many of these to be in good shape today. This is also neat. We see lots of people collecting dominoes because the early dominoes had some really great designs on the packaging, like this one, the 99 Nubian dominoes, and he's trying to save himself from the attacking lion. It's quite dramatic, from right around 1900. He has got the trains. He's got American Flyer with the original boxes, challengers of the miniature rails, and they were challenging primarily Marx and Lionel. Marks were usually a little less expensive, but you could buy full sets and start right out with them. And then Lionel had some pretty great pieces that you bought individually. But he's got a combination of them here. A lot of these that look like this in the metal are going to be pre-war. And then sometime in the 1950s, this is a good example. This is metal, this is plastic. We start to see the shift right about the same time that the real railroads are shifting to these diesel engines. We see the same shift in materials in the toy trains. American Flyer was pretty good about marking a lot of their stuff. Actually, all of them were. If you look closely, you'll generally be able to figure out who's who. And $30 for the station is not bad. I would say that his prices overall are probably pretty fair just based on that. I sold a couple of pieces of restaurant china yesterday. I think there is starting to be renewed interest, especially when you have really interesting scenes like this desert scene and mountains here. This is Jackson China, and I bet that you could trace back and probably figure out what restaurant this was used at originally. Libby's silver leaf came out right on the heels of the gold leaf when they figured out how to inexpensively apply these gold and silver pieces to glass around 1960, and this one is the entire set with the ice bucket. And this is a really unusual Coleman 502 stove. You don't see this size very often. They're very, very compact, and they are not common. And Coleman stuff's really collectible now. That's why you're seeing prices like that on it. My goodness, well, I just found out everything I'm looking at is half off, and I've been here describing things to you, and it turns out I should have been shopping, so I'm going to go through again and shop.
You can use any of that reloading stuff. It's 50% off or more.
You go into a garage sale or an estate sale, and you're in the garage, and you see these sorts of things. These are for making bullets for reloading, and there is an active market for these, and they do sell for pretty good money. So this is something that you really want to check out. Even if this isn't your thing, if you're just a regular reseller, you could make some good money on some of this stuff. So it pays to learn a little bit about categories that might not be the thing that you collect if you are in the business of reselling, because you never know what you're going to find. This is really cool. The Curtis P40D Tiger Shark, and it's got the Comet gas engine, control handle, and line. So this is still on a tether. This is before they became fully remote control. This is 1960s. It's just great with the original box. Lots of 1950s and 60s models, and prices now as low as $10. Some of these are pretty interesting. It almost looks like a submarine, but it's called the Speedwagon. Averaged 150 miles for the year, 1949 national champion. And there's your kit, ready to build. Marie Osmond, boy, did she have a smile on her. Glamorous gowns, each sold separately, of course. I like old kaleidoscopes. This has a funky 70s vibe to it. And if you look at it, this is one of these that this turns everything that you see into a kaleidoscopic image. One of my favorite cocktail forks. This is the one that dips down so you can get your stuff, and it has a Bakelite olive on the end, and it's only $5 now, so I'm going to have that. The Spitfire with clip. Wow. That is a deluxe cap gun. Customer service, Circle N Ranch, Jacksonville, Texas. Well, that sounds like the place you would want to have this serviced. That is pretty cool. Lincoln Station figures of practically unbreakable metal. Well, those seem like they held up. History in miniatures by Authenticast. This is an Irish company that made these. And they're another form of lead soldiers. This is a game you don't see very often. Bataan, the Battle of the Philippines, based on the actual battles in World War II. I think it took them knowing we were going to win World War II for this to come out. Very hard to find. Even a cheap little ukulele for $12.50 is just a fun thing to have, so we're going to get that. I understand these are Chinese from the mid-20th century, but that bright blue color always seems to sell these if they're priced cheaply enough and are in good shape. This one doesn't have any damage, and it's only going to be $5. For that price, I will pick that up. It's not as old as it looks, but it's good for what it is. This little car clock is of interest to me, partly because it's a thing that you would use in a car or potentially even an airplane, but also because it has phosphorescent glowing handles. And it's going to be $10 now. Can I get 20? I really think I can. Unfortunately, it starts and stops, so I guess I am going to leave it after all. Coca-Cola gave away these little pencil boxes as advertising around 1950, and it does have everything in it, including this cute little boy with the home run with 3 on. He's excited, and he's going to have a Coke. Dated 1957, I think, if I'm reading that right, and I will be interested in that for sure. Well, last year when we met, Sharon was a viewer and getting into all this stuff, and now you have a YouTube channel.
I do. It's called Lily Pond Treasures. I started it a month ago. I have several booths in Melbourne and at Antique Mall. And then I also redo furniture with my husband, and we're going to do some videos on that as well.
Oh, I think that's a great idea. Furniture refinishing and stuff is so helpful to people because a lot of people have something really great that they've had and they just aren't sure what to do and they're afraid, or they'll get rid of something that's perfectly nice because they don't think they can fix it. So, oh good, we can't wait to learn from you guys. That's so great. I'm always thrilled when somebody who gets into this kind of goes to the next level, and yeah, this is the next level, baby.
I'm learning from the best.
Aw. If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.